So I know some people are going to say, yeah, but I can't afford to have a house manager. I can't afford for my husband to come home yet. What do you tell them?
Well, that's a lack mindset. It's a lack mindset. You are always choosing something. And the moment you got to ask yourself better questions in life. You got to talk to yourself better. But if it's not working for you in your life, the current like work-life balance or whatever you're trying to go for, just always know you're choosing that. So if I don't have enough time to do the things I love, if I don't have enough money to hire the people that I need to hire, I'm choosing that. Because if I could take God view of my situation, I like to call it, what would he have me do in this situation? Because money, it's always a byproduct of helping people.
Do you have headphones on your podcast?
We actually did that yesterday for the first time.
I like the headphones because it feels so intimate to me. Like you're right closer, even if you're not.
Well, and I have like ADD, so
I was just gonna say that's why I like the headphones because like you're not distracted. I'm like here.
Yes.
Where things can be going on. They could be doing I don't know what back there, and
They sometimes are doing who knows what back there.
Yeah, I liked using them yesterday. I was like, okay, I gotta like have hairstyles for.
Yeah, you gotta have a hairstyle for the headphones. Make it look cute. Get some pink ones, some white ones, the black ones.
White ones.
You guys need to get the little covers that go over this. Have you seen that?
No.
I'll show you a picture. I'm gonna get it for mine. It's just like a box right here, and it has your branding. It looks really cool.
Oh,
so when you redo the logo,
nice.
Yeah.
Because then it shows on the reels too that when you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's smart.
That's why we put you guys right in front of the logo so that when we do cut reels.
Oh. There's so much to see in this studio. I didn't notice that.
Yeah. That's our wall of every guest. We'll have you sign over there though, where Tim and.
Yeah, I know. I see Lacey and Emily.
Yep. Cayla. Do you know Cayla Cardona?
No,
you
I don't know her.
You need to meet her.
I know. I need to know Cayla with the K. I gotta know her.
You need to have her on your podcast. She's from Selling the OC.
Okay, I haven't seen that. I've seen Selling Sunset, but not Selling the OC.
Yeah.
It's too close to home. I didn't want to watch it. I was like, oh.
I don't feel like dancing today. Are you okay with that, or you want to dance?
Okay, we don't have to.
Okay, cue the intro.
Do you guys normally dance?
That's not even
The boys
close
do.
to it. That's not it.
I have joined in.
There we go.
Nice. Well done. It's Shane's part. He loves that part. So since he's not here, we do his little lame.
Well, welcome to the Hopeaholics podcast.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
It's going to be amazing.
We're excited.
This is my first time being on a co-hosted. So I'm like, who do I look at? I'm going to keep going like this.
Either one of us, because when you look at either one of us, you're right in your camera.
Yeah, so you can't go wrong.
Yeah, you can't go wrong.
Okay.
When Shane's here, I just tell everybody
don't look at him.
Try not to, unless you want your side profile to be, because that might be the profound thing that you say that becomes the real, and you don't want that.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
that's true.
Well, I'm lucky. I only have you guys to look at.
Yeah, you don't have to go ahead and give the side profile.
Yeah, there's sometimes 3 of us on here. How about that?
My ADD would be going wild. I'd be like, I got to step out, guys.
Really? Yeah. I feel like it works out. You would think it would be overwhelming, but I don't know. It works.
It's probably because you're comfortable with it right
Maybe.
now. But like for first timers coming in, you're like, all right,
Yeah, we usually just start talking to first timers, like people who have never done a podcast before. Like I usually don't ask them if they're nervous, because that makes you more nervous if you are nervous. And then I just sit down and have them put the headphones on, and we're already rolling.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, hey, Michelangelo, are we live? And he's like, yeah, we're live. And they're like, oh, we've been live this way? Yeah, we've been live.
Yeah, we've been going.
So I want to know more about your podcast, just to start off. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so it's called The Crafted Entrepreneur. So my last name's Craft, so it's a play on that. And I am just obsessed with helping entrepreneurs, know that they're not alone in this journey of building business, because it can be really lonely, especially if you're online doing it and you think you're the only one struggling, having a hard month. And so I just like to come on, give inspiring stories, interview awesome entrepreneurs out there, plus give tips. I love marketing. And so I just try to give out as many tips about marketing. And, I just enjoy it. I've been doing it for almost 6 years.
Wow.
So, what, the podcast?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It used to be called Mommy Millionaire. And I just actually rebranded it about 6 months ago, because none of my kids call me mommy anymore. And I was just feeling like it's like not like me anymore. So I wanted to like step into a new level of where I'm going and talk to like men and women,
How many kids do you have?
I have 3.
Wow. What are their ages?
They're 13, 11, and 9.
Wow.
Yeah.
So your household is full.
Yeah.
And busy right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're super
13,
busy.
11, and 9. 2 are still in elementary school.
Well, the 2 of them are actually in middle school, but they all 3 go to the same school.
Oh,
they're at a private school, and so it goes to 8th grade. But yeah, my oldest is a hockey player, and so he travels like every weekend. He's in a different state.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he's pretty busy.
When did you want to become an entrepreneur?
Okay, so I was an ER nurse 13 years ago when I had my son, Cooper. And I was just, do you guys have a Cooper?
I do.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a funny story. I named him Cooper because I thought about what little kids would sound like when they were calling him, like Poopa and, Poopa. And anyway, that's how I came up with Cooper. And then now everybody calls him Crafty. They don't even call him by his first name. So anyway, I had him, and I loved nursing because the reason I got into nursing was I wanted a stable job and I wanted to help people. And so it really filled both of those needs of mine. And then when I became a mom, I hated it because I hated leaving him. I was raised by a single mom, and my dad was in jail most of my life. And so leaving him, it was like, why am I doing this? I want to, like, because my mom was always gone working, you know what I mean? And so I was like, I don't want him to be a latchkey kid too. So I knew I had to find something different. And I actually became like a nursing instructor because that gave me more like time freedom and actually made more money that way too. But I still was like, I don't want to leave. And so I found network marketing, and I just kind of started posting about it on Facebook. And this was like back like when people just got a Facebook.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you had to have a college email until like recently. So people didn't know like what personal branding was online or anything. And I was just like talking about how I felt. And I was just super honest about how I felt on these products. Like I would be like, I threw up today. This stuff like is so hard to take. And people I think loved like the radical honesty. Yeah. And so they believed me when I recommended products. And so fast forward, I became a millionaire selling protein shakes, I say. And that gave me enough courage to then get completely out of nursing and go all in on just like our dream as a family. And, then I started investing in real estate. I started helping other people with their social media. And it's just kind of evolved into now, teaching people really how to be successful in any industry.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you coach others.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And it could be a realm of any industry.
Yeah. Like one of my clients owns several med spas. One of my clients is a trauma therapist. Another one is she's another coach. But I mean, yeah, it's all different types of industries.
And is it primarily helping them utilize social media? marketing?
Well, yeah. I mean, I help people with social media marketing, but it's so much deeper than that, because if you don't heal like who you, why you're doing things, because a lot of us do things out of ego, which I believe is like edging God out of everything. And so what I really try to focus on is like, what is it that you really want in your life, out of a healed place, you know, because some of us will say, I want to be rich, but they are saying it because they grew up in so much lack and they're doing it for the wrong reasons. That was me. And I like to tell the story that like I was making $1 million a year, but I was living paycheck to paycheck because I hadn't healed like the fact that there was like this little poor girl inside of me, you know, that was like scared to look poor to people. So anyways, I had to go through a lot of work, and I try to teach people just all of those healing modalities that I've done over the last 12 years. And yeah, and it helps people like really build a business and a life that they love and that they're proud of. Yeah.
What kind of stuff did you do for your self inner work to become who you are today? Because obviously from just the little pieces that I've heard, you had to, you know, navigate through some issues from whether it's childhood or whatnot.
Yeah. So I think number one is my faith in God. Like I have always had a deep faith in God. I really feel like he had his hand of protection over me, because I just never had a desire to do anything bad as a kid. Like I was always anti everything, like drinking. I was the president of a club in high school where we went around and taught like why it was bad to binge drink. Like
Wow.
I was so on the other side of doing anything. And then my brother went kind of in a completely different direction, unfortunately. So I always say like, I'm so thankful, like for some reason, God chose to protect me and like in a certain way. And so I've just always spent my time like focusing on who God says I am and really trying to like give back and help people. So that's first and foremost. I've just been a Bible thumper for a while. And the second thing is, you know, I had all this success and I hired a coach. This was before Tim, but I hired a coach and he was like, Cayla, you're like a bulldozer and you need to be a Ferrari. Cause I just like forced like my way into anything I wanted. It was like going to happen. And then I was like burnt out and tired, you know, and had hurt a lot of people's feelings along the way. Anyways. And so he was like, you do that because you think there's not enough for you. Like, you know, you have to bulldoze over everybody because of this lack and scarcity mindset. And so where did that first start? Well, it started when I was a kid and I was always being told no. We were on food stamps. Like, you know, it was like real lack. But I had to go back and do a lot of reparenting and inner child work, which is just like spending time with your inner child and loving on her and helping her feel safe. And so that was a lot of it. Is there some?
Yeah, people keep looking at you. Don't worry. Ignore them.
Anyway, so I spent a lot of time doing that, which it sounds like so basic. I think people hear inner child and they're like, what does that look like? For me, every morning, I just kept a picture of myself at 5 years old because that's when my dad first went to rehab. And I just remember like that was when my family like blew up. And so it was like this happy little girl. Then all of a sudden her family was like torn apart. And so I spent so much time with her just like in the morning, just like, I love you. It's safe. Like your life isn't going to fall apart today. Like everything actually turns out okay. Like you end up like better than you can even imagine right now. And I would just like assure her that everything was going to be okay in the morning. And then I started to come from like a healed place of going after my dreams and stuff. And because it wasn't like little Cayla running the show, it was big Cayla, you know, that understands there's more than enough for everybody. So,
you mentioned that your father went to rehab when you were 5. So he struggled with addiction or alcoholism.
Yeah, he struggles with both to this day still, but yeah, he was a construction worker, and I think that's kind of, he had issues before my mom and him got married, and then just like the stress of having a family and stuff kind of started it back up, he says. And so I remember my mom was like going and trying to find him at night, like we couldn't find him, and then she got him to go to rehab, and it just didn't work, and he ended up in jail. and he was away for like 3 to 4 years the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't even know what he did. People will go, "What do you do?" I'm like, I don't even know.
Yeah.
He'd probably lie to me about what he did
Yeah.
anyway. So, just a lot of like overnight felt like our family like blew up, and then he would be in and out of jail for most of my life, and he's still an addict today, unfortunately. So, yeah.
No, that's hard. That's like definitely, maybe that's one of the reasons why you were president of your high school club of like, not.
Yeah, you
drinking.
think?
Yeah. Like
I was
that's-
pretty.
Yeah.
I was pretty
Yeah,
anti.
it's like kids seem to go either one
Yeah.
or two ways.
Mm-hmm.
They either go anti or right into it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I know that was my brother, unfortunately. So it's kind of sad.
I have a 15-year-old that is totally like the anti club.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, and she doesn't have very many friends because of it.
That's good though. I mean, it's, I feel like that's a good thing. She's ahead of the curve.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't
for
have a
sure.
lot of friends in high school. I wasn't like a popular person, and I felt like I didn't find my people until I really found who I was. But I think that's protection from God because what would happen if she did have a lot of friends? She might be easily influenced to
For sure.
do bad things.
Especially
Yeah.
at that age. I feel like that's when you're so easily influenced on whatever. So I feel like that's actually a solid and good thing. Plus, she has not that bad of a role model to look at of not doing anything.
Right.
So, and what happens if you do certain things? I think that also is helpful probably with her anti
Yeah.
anything.
My kids have all grown up in the rehab industry
Okay.
because I started my first rehab when my 22-year-old daughter was 2,
Oh, wow.
but
okay.
I started working in treatment when she was 4 months old.
Okay.
So it's been a long time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's all I've done.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
It
yeah.
I liked how you said in the beginning about ego, edge God out.
Mm-hmm.
That's something we say in the program.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of like working the steps is getting rid of the ego, doing all the healing and, finding your higher power and having that relationship and getting through all the stuff and getting rid of that ego
Yeah.
And
And
having
then-
to do a lot of
and then
inner
keeping
work.
it in check constantly.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it'll
Daily.
rear its head on a daily basis if you allow it.
Mm-hmm. Do you believe that any of the like addictions that people struggle with are spiritual? Like,
I think it's
Yeah,
all
for sure.
yeah.
Definitely.
it's a spiritual malady is what we call it.
Mm-hmm.
It's what her and I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And we're trying to fill that void with substances,
Mm-hmm.
And when you really, really get to that point of surrender, or we call it the gift of desperation,
Yeah.
Oh.
where you can reach out and find God. It's the only time. It's the only way it really works. The only way the 12-step program really
For sure.
works.
You have
gotta-
to believe in a power higher than, greater than yourself.
Yeah, you know where the steps come from, right?
I don't.
The Bible.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I went to Al-Anon when I was in high school and stuff, and it really helped me.
Yeah.
But I can't remember all of the things I did
Yeah.
in it. But yeah, it was helpful to know there were other people, because when I was in high school, I would always give money to my dad. Like, I enabled his habits, and I didn't realize, like, I'm like, well, he's not going to be able to eat tonight if I don't. So I was like working to, help his habit. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And then I started going to Al-Anon. I was like, oh, okay, I got to just cut contact for a little bit for my mental health.
yeah,
Yeah. For yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Boundaries are always.
Because I was like, I don't want his nasty spirits to be getting up on me. I need to.
And that's always hard too. I feel like, it's really difficult for the people around the addict or alcoholic as well, because, it is somebody, especially if it's somebody super close to you, whether it's a spouse or father or brother or sister, setting up those boundaries, because obviously your initial reaction is always to try and help the other. But a lot of times, alcoholics and addicts are the best manipulators in the world. So, they're able to take advantage of people as well.
I want to dive a little bit into your network marketing because Facebook, it seems like you were one of the first to do this stuff on Facebook. I have a similar story. I was one of the first to ever market and advertise a treatment on online.
Oh, wow.
So like, I mean, yeah, people had websites, but they weren't doing pay-per-click advertising, and nobody had heard of search engine optimization. This was back in like 2002.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. You're like right on the beginning of the game.
Yeah. So that's like my claim to fame. That's like how I did it.
That's so
And I kind of want to hear a little bit more how you did it.
Yeah, it's funny when people started to really ask, how'd you do it? How'd you do it? I'm like, gosh, how did I do it? And it really was like ignorance on fire. Like I was so excited. I had this big vision for my family. Like all of a sudden a billionaire told me he believed in me. And I was like, well, yeah, like why can't I have like financial freedom and success? I grew up in a small town and I didn't know anybody that was ever a millionaire or just like had, wealth. And so to have this guy say, you could do it, you have all that it takes. You have the charisma and, that was pretty much it. I had the charisma and he was like, you could do it. And I believed him. And so I was just stuck on like getting the message out there about like helping people be healthy, taking control of their mindset. And so, 2 to 3 times a day I was posting just like quotes, things I was doing with my kids, how I was feeling. I mean, things that people do right now that it's like, it was before all of that, but I was just doing that in a status post on Facebook and really building a community because then I would have, at that time I had, a 1-year-old and then I was pregnant with my next one. So lots of moms everywhere. And so I would have little popsicle parties at my house and just like little things to bring moms together. We would do workouts together at the park. And so I just really started to build a community because most moms lack community, especially in the beginning. They feel like they're alone.
For sure.
And so that's what I did. And then people, started to catch on and follow suit, do what I was doing on Facebook. And I was teaching them what to say, what to do. And then lots of people, around me started to have success too. And it just kind of eventually became like wildfire. I had a team of like 90,000 people. So I see Emily up here. We were in the same company. So.
Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. Small world.
So we've known each other for a long time.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, Emily Ford. I was like looking at our Emily. I was like,
oh, are you Emily?
Oh, my God. That's hilarious. I literally was thinking that she was talking about our Emily right here.
from her old job, from where we stole her from.
Oh.
Yeah.
So she meant Emily Ford.
I know, but I was thinking our Emily.
Too. That's why I looked at her. She goes,
me too. I was like, wait, what? Hold
she
on.
said not
I was
me.
like, wow.
I was over here staring at the little.
And then I was like, oh, Emily Ford.
Which is hilarious because I literally was like, what? Emily, why wouldn't you tell us that you
Speaking of Emily Ford, I thought it was funny that she posted on her story. I know the guy was totally joking, but she was doing like some TV show thing. And the guy called her Emily Chevrolet.
That's hilarious.
It's funny.
What a... that's amazing. So you guys were in the same what?
Network marketing company.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, so you guys, what does that mean?
Oh, we were just like, we represented the same products. I don't like to say the name because I'm no longer associated with them.
Okay, so it was basically...
I'll tell you off air. I know what it is.
We have that. Me and Emily don't have bad blood, but that me and that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Oh, you and the company. Okay.
So is that where it kind of sparked your idea into then
being an entrepreneur?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I was like, I loved helping people. I saw I could do it. I could build community. I could teach people pretty easily. I could empower people. I found out quickly I sucked at public speaking. And I was like, I have to get good at this because somebody told me whoever holds the mic makes the most money. And again, remember, I'm coming from this like little like poor girl mentality is what I like to call it because I hadn't healed that part of me yet. So all I did was I was so motivated by money. That was the only thing reason I would do things.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm going to get good at this. So I joined a Toastmasters. Have you guys ever heard of that?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
What is that?
It's like it teaches you how to public speak.
It's a club.
Yeah, it's a club.
And they have like contests on who can give the best speech.
Oh, wow.
And I would go to it religiously every week, practice my speeches, and just commit to that craft of being able to hold people's attention and make them take action. And so,
Another play on your last name.
I know, right?
Yeah.
That's,
So then now, what made you want to start a podcast?
So I knew I was out of network marketing. I was done with it. I loved it, and it changed my life so much. And I think it's really was a springboard for me, and it's a springboard for a lot of people that end up doing something completely different. But it gave me so many skills: sales, communication, team building, leadership. And so I was like, how did I get people to do things when other teams, they would be doing the same things, but they couldn't ever get people to take action. And so I was like, I have a process. I have a coaching process, and it's now called Take 7, and it's in my new book coming out in just a couple months called What Do You Really Want? And so I really was like, how do I make this a global thing? I'm going to do the podcast, because that was the quickest way to get into more ears and get outside of the network marketing bubble, because I was really at that time known for being one of the top network marketers. And so I just started the podcast and had amazing guests on, and that blew up. And, that was almost 6 years ago now.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
And
we just did live events, coaching programs. We've helped, I think around like 33,000 people now that have gone through my programs and stuff.
Wow.
In one way, shape, or form.
Cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So for people that are listening, and if they're interested in coaching, where can they go to find you?
Yeah, they can go to caylacraft.com, and they can see all the different stuff we have going on. And
is there different tiers to your coaching?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, we even have ebooks that people can get for like $7 and just start learning some of the things. But the best way is just listening into the podcast. I mean, you could start at day one. One of my first episodes is on persistence. And I just, teach. I try to give everything for free. I really do. I try to give everything I teach for free, because there's no lack of information. Like, you can go anywhere and learn how to build a business, how to have a healthy mindset. And so I try to give. But if you want that next level of accountability, and you want somebody to be a mirror for you in your life and really be like, okay, you say you're showing up like this, but here's what I see. And so that's what I do as a coach. And I have coaches that work under me that do the same thing.
So then with your business, you have yourself, and then you have a team underneath you that is
helping me. Yeah. Yes. I couldn't do it alone. I have some amazing people around me that help me.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Bring it to fruition, and we're all just about making sure people get the best results.
Yeah, because you can't be a good coach if the people that you're coaching aren't becoming successful, right?
One of my clients, she just came to me in January, hired me, and she's like a private one-on-one client, and she had an idea for a business. She was already successful in network marketing too. And she came to me, and now this, in one brand new income stream, she's about to do, I think, 1.5 million this year in coaching services. So yeah, what I do works.
So what happens when
That's incredible.
when a student starts to outperform the teacher?
Oh, I have somebody that does that.
Nice.
Yeah. What happens? Gosh, for me, I think if it would have happened 5 years ago, I would have been pissed. You know what I mean? Just being honest.
Yeah.
Because I hadn't done enough work to be happy for other people yet. You know what I mean? I wanted you to be good, but not as good as me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And now I think, because God has worked on my heart so much and really giving me more of a servant heart and understanding that I'm his hands and feet, and I have to give the gift every single day of what he's given me. And my job is actually to make multipliers, So I'm going to teach you everything I know. I'm going to hold you accountable for everything you say that you want in your life. And you should go out and actually do better than me, because if I had somebody like me 5 years ago, I'd be much further along. So now I actually am happy. I'm oh, I feel like a mama bear, actually. I'm
I think that's really important, especially now, because you see that so often. And I don't know if it's the same with males, but I know that it's definitely with females in particular. Also, is like feeling like there's not enough. So it's like you want others to do well, but just not as either good as you or take your opportunity or whatever it may be. Where we have to understand that there is an abundant amount of everything,
Yes.
of success, of wealth, of products, of whatever it may be, that has to be kind of let go.
Absolutely. But a lot of us don't have that because we have like we just have wounds, especially sister wounds.
Yeah, for sure. And that takes, I mean, a lot of what you're saying too is very much like program, you know, even though you're not in like recovery. Or,
I feel like I'm in recovery from working too much. I always say there's always like all of us have like, if you have addictive tendencies, you know, and I think I do, it just mine went into something healthy, which was working. I mean, I get obsessed with like my people. And if somebody's not getting results, I'm up thinking about it at night going, what do I need to do different? How, you know?
Yeah, you took something that could possibly have taken you down a darker road and you channeled it towards something positive and making it a success for not only you, but your family and kids and everything like that.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I like though, because, you know what, America, the world, I don't know, maybe America, the world, they've told us that you're only supposed to work
Yeah.
a certain amount of hours. And if you want to achieve ultimate success, you can't work 40 hours a week. You can't work 9 to 5. You just can't.
Yeah.
If that's what you want and that's the life that you want to live, that's okay. And if you're okay with it, I'm okay with that, because that just takes one competitor out of the game, right?
I like it.
But like,
But it's true. It's
you
like,
have
yeah.
to work hard and you have to make sacrifices. And, you know, that's how you're going to better your life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, and I think that where in the Bible does it talk about work-life balance anyway? It does say to have a Sabbath day,
Yeah.
right? You get one day. And I am like hardcore about that day. Like it's not easy for me to not like work on that day, but I make that actually like a sacrifice where I ask God throughout the day, I'm like, help me rest today. Help me like rejuvenate. I just started that about a year ago where I was like, this is my day for you, God. And I don't know if I've had any direct results yet from doing that, but I really do like, I'm trying to be more faithful in that aspect to actually rest one whole day, you know?
so then for especially the women out there, like how do you juggle your family life, your work life?
I got a team for my family too. Like that's what I like to say,
Yeah.
you know? My mom recently just moved in with us, which is so amazing. She's single. If any of you guys are listening in, I'm looking for a lady. Anyways, because she just moved here. And anyway, she's helping me out a ton. And then I have a house manager that helps me, that I haven't done laundry in years because she helps me with that. And, you know, I have like, I just have a lot of help.
Yeah.
With the, and then my husband, you know, he, because we started making all this money with network marketing, he was able to quit his job in the oil fields, and he actually worked for his dad. But anyway, he came home, and so he's been like a stay-at-home dad probably for like the last 9 years. And recently he started a business. Well, he started it like 2 years ago, but now it's really taking off. So anyway, he's been home helping too with the kids. Like he's been he's been everywhere. He hasn't missed a thing.
Yeah.
So that's been really awesome for the kids. And
Very nice.
It's helped me do what I need to do too.
For sure. So you literally have a team in all areas, so that way.
Yeah. And I think that's important to point out because people do think and they think they need to do it all alone. And I think when you try to do it all alone, you're blocking other people's blessings. And so if you're worthy of support, you should ask for help. There's people that want to help you. And that's one way that their cup gets filled up is by like helping you with your kids or helping you with your life, you know?
So I liked what you called the person the house manager.
It's
That's what
very elevated.
that's what we used to call our people that live in our houses and help the addicts, house managers.
Oh,
Yeah, it's been changed to something else, some type of tech now, which
Wow.
behavioral health tech, which I don't like as much because I felt like when they were a house manager, they had ownership of the house.
Yeah.
Now it's a tech. My industry's been really wonky the
Oh,
last like 10 years. Lots of different roller coaster.
different rules and
changes,
regulations
yeah.
being put on you.
Yep. Ups, downs, turns, twists. But it keeps me on my toes.
I was like, but here you are.
Yeah, here I am. Just still navigating the ship.
Yep. That's how entrepreneurship is, though. You have to be willing to roll with the punches and pivot.
So I know some people are going to say, yeah, but I can't afford to have a house manager. I can't afford for my husband to come home yet. What do you tell them?
Well, that's a lack mindset. It's a lack mindset. You are always choosing something. And the moment you got to ask yourself better questions in life. You got to talk to yourself better. But if it's not working for you in your life, the current like work-life balance or whatever you're trying to go for, just always know you're choosing that. So if I don't have enough time to do the things I love, if I don't have enough money to hire the people that I need to hire, I'm choosing that. Because if I could take God view of my situation, I like to call it, what would he have me do in this situation? Because money, it's always a byproduct of helping people. So if I am requiring more money to get the things that I need in my life, then who else do I need to help? Who else do I need to serve? And when you start going at it from that perspective, you'll see there's people everywhere that need help. And so you start serving more people, you'll start having more resources.
I like that.
Really good. Yeah.
I feel like it's putting limits on yourself
Everybody does.
when it's totally the opposite, especially with anything related to the Bible. It's not the case. It's like there's abundantly more than enough
Absolutely.
to go grab or get or whatever it may be.
Especially if you're following principles, like help
Yeah.
people.
Yep.
Because that's why even people that don't follow the Bible, they still get the results of wealth and things like that because they get the principle of helping people.
Yeah.
What are some of like the biggest, I guess, I don't want to say roadblocks or struggles that you've experienced becoming an entrepreneur?
I think the biggest thing that I struggled with in the beginning is rejection. Because, again, going back to so much of this stuff that we go through is from our childhood. And here I was, even though I wasn't rejected by my dad, I physically, I was abandoned by this guy in my life that was supposed to be my provider and my protector. And so I grew up always feeling like not enough, even though I had my faith,
Sure.
but that was something I always struggled with. I'm not enough. I got to work 10 times harder than anybody else here. And so I just had that spirit of rejection attached to me for so long. And so when people would tell me no, I'd ask them to share my podcast or I'd ask them to come on the podcast. I'd ask them to go on their podcast and they'd be like, no. The first time I tried to get a book deal, she was like, no, you're not big enough. I tried to get like an agent years ago. I don't know why, but I wanted to get on people's podcasts and she's like, no, you're not big enough. And so I would take that personally, like, oh my gosh, and I had to learn that rejection is God's redirection, because whatever God has for you, it cannot be stopped by you or anybody else on this planet. It's yours. And when you start fully stepping into that and knowing that every room you walk into, it's God designed for you to be in that room in that moment, and you don't need to prove anything to anybody, you just need to serve, then things really started to, shift for me. But you have to really surrender and believe that there's a process and there's a timing for everything that God has for you. And you have to become the person that God wants you to be before he gives you all of the things that you truly desire, because otherwise you waste it and you're a bad steward of the influence, of the money, of the time. So
do you have a process that you do like daily or something to stay on top of where you're at now, like your mindset for yourself.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Because I'm always going through things, right? As an
Yeah.
entrepreneur. So my biggest thing is in the morning, I like to give the first fruits of my time to God. So I always will spend time reading the Bible. Like today, I just read Job 42, and it's all about how, I don't know if you've ever read the book of Job, but basically he loses everything, like his family and everything. And then Job 42 is about restoration and God giving him everything back, like but double eventually. And so it's just kind of like it helps me have a different mindset because I just recently went through some hard things in my business. And it's like, oh yeah, that's right. Like anything that left, it's because God has a better plan and he's bringing something completely different, you know? So anyways, it helps me just have that mindset of that everything's happening for you. And so I do that in the morning. And I think the biggest thing is you got to hang out with people who believe the similar things as you, and they're going to help keep you on the right path. Because if I hung out with people who were victims and complainers and just people that think that life is always happening to them and not for them, then that rubs off on you, right? So I hang out with a lot of people that believe that they are blessed and highly favored and that everything's working out for them, you know? So it's hard to not believe the same thing.
Which is so true. I mean, you hear it all the time from many, many, many people. You know, who you surround yourself is very important because we are not only like sponges, but we also we rub off on one another, you know? So
Absolutely.
It's like very important for your little clique, your little crew that you're rolling around with to be on the same trajectory because you're just trying to level each other up.
Yes.
As opposed to the opposite where
bringing each other down.
Exactly.
I mean, it's all mindset. I everything you speak is what we think, what we believe here. Life happens for us, not to us, you know?
Yep.
There's always lessons. There's always like growth. There's always things that you can internally work on to get you through whatever it is that you're going through. I mean, all of us, I'm sure, can sit and be like, why me, God? Why this? Why is this? You know?
I did that one day when I was just it was a long day, and I walked into the house and I took a step and I stepped right into dog poop. I literally,
oh my God.
we have like cameras in my house. So I literally said, why me? My wife posted it on Instagram.
That's amazing.
That's
on the story.
hilarious.
That is amazing.
She's like, Chad stepped in dog poop.
That's amazing. That's
Why
amazing.
me?
Yeah.
But, you know, I had a really hard time with rejection too. And the no's, different things like that. Now it's like, I'm like, maybe it's just because what I feed my mind with, right?
Yeah.
We have to feed our mind just like we feed our body.
Yep.
Maybe even more so because like our ears are constantly listening.
For sure.
Our mouth isn't always hungry. You know, our tummy isn't always hungry. So we don't always have to feed our body, but our ears are always wide open.
Yeah.
And
That is so true.
yeah, I only put positive
Good stuff in.
And it's like when people are around and they're like talking like, oh, this is, you know, and I'm like, because the way I see it is like that next no, man, I'm one more closer
Yes.
to that yes.
Yep.
It's so true, but I think it goes with obviously time and experience because initially I think nobody likes to be rejected. Nobody likes to either get told no or get turned away. And I remember too feeling so like taking a lot of no's so personally, especially like in my 20s. And then as I've grown as an individual, I look at like no as into nothing, like on to the next.
Yep.
Or with, okay, you might be saying no right in this second, but I'll be getting back to you in a minute.
Yeah,
and
when you actually realize how badass.
how dope I am.
And when I say that without ego.
Yeah.
You know, I say that humbly because today I know what I can create. And I don't even know the true extent though of what I can create. That's why so I don't put like any limitations on myself. I'm always moving forward.
That's good.
But I'll tell you, the rejection thing for me stemmed all the way back to childhood because I was this chubby kid in like junior high, and then that's like when the girls you start really
Sure.
liking the girls, and like the girls didn't like me like they liked my
Aw,
friends
yeah.
because I was chubby Chad. You know,
Did they call you that?
I called myself
Oh,
that.
you called yourself that.
Yeah, I was pretty mean to myself.
Yeah.
I think like maybe my brother's friends. Like I'm old enough to be there was this show called I forget, there was this guy on it. His name was Rerun, and he would do these dances, and he was this chubby guy, and my brother's friends used to make fun of me and tell me to do the Rerun dance cuz they didn't have any fat to jiggle.
Oh my gosh, the kids are so mean.
Brutal.
Oh wow. Yeah.
They are.
But I love it today. I love the fact that that happened to me because it made this guy right here.
Yeah, it made you resilient. And it helps you build thick skin.
For sure, which
too.
is like so important. Like, I mean, looking back, because I have 3 older brothers, and I like, they shit on me like nobody's business, like bad, but like not in a malicious type.
They just were being funny.
They thought they were hilarious and had a ton of jokes, but to me, you know what I mean. But it requires you to also build thick skin, because if you walk around, especially now, and anybody says something, people are crumbling left and right, when it's like, damn, everyone is so sensitive, where it's like, where
Well, when you have to have a word triggered.
oh my God,
I'm
I
triggered.
can't. I cannot with that word. I literally,
Triggered means you need to go to therapy. If you're triggered by something, it means you still have some deep work that you need.
that's
Yes.
what it is. Internal work that you need to sort out, because you cannot, so you can control what you can control, right? You can't control what other people are either saying, doing, acting. So if you say something, or if you do something, the nerve of me to say like, oh, I'm feeling triggered, like I need, that's
No, it's so
crazy.
narcissistic.
It's so
I think.
insane.
'Cause
Yeah, well,
it's like, wait.
it's me trying to actually control you.
Yeah.
And the only thing that we truly can control are ourselves, our own thoughts, our own feelings,
Our
and
own actions, how we respond.
Yep, or how we
Totally.
respond.
Yeah.
You know, it could hurt my feelings, but I don't have to be all like triggered about it. And if it hurt my feelings, then I might need to go back, walk away, and be like, why did that hurt my feelings?
You know, something that one of my coaches taught me years ago, and this really changed my life when it comes to rejection, is when did you start holding people to agreements that they never made with you? So, you know, it's like you're expecting people to always act the way that you want them to act, but like, did they sign a contract? You know, like when did you make them aware of this is how they are supposed to act and respond to you? And it's like never, and you feel like an idiot, you know? And that's really what I realized. I was like, wow, like that is so freeing to just be like, people are going to act the way that they act. And unless I'm like in a friendship or a relationship with somebody, we have those types of conversations. Like I will tell my friends like, hey, if I do something wrong, here's how, like, you know, I want it to go down. Like if I did something wrong, this is how you come to me. And my friend actually wrote a book on it. It's called a Tribe Called Bliss. And she kind of teaches how to do that. So that way people are like less offended in friendships and relationships, but it's really good.
Yeah, I think it's important, because it's not on, first of all, nobody owes anybody anything. So it's like the nerve to even think like, my husband told me this too, and I don't do it anymore. I used to. My expectations of certain situations, whether it's work, whether it doesn't matter. My expectations are set so grandiose and so high. And then it's always like a big letdown if it doesn't perform the way that I want it, which is like the nerve of me to even have the expectations on something that I'm walking into that I don't really know what is going to transpire out of it. So you're casting things that are out of your control onto others. That is nuts.
Right. I think that a lot of us don't know what we want in life. And so that's why we allow other people's actions to us to affect us so much.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we're looking for that outside validation and outside motivation to get us going.
For sure. For coaching, because now you have a book coming out, right? So how long did it take you to write this? Yeah.
Okay. So the book story is funny because remember I said I went to the agent like 5 years ago and she was like, no. But she started listening to my podcast. And then she reaches out to me like, I can't remember, like a couple of years later, like 2 years later. And she's like, I've been listening to your podcast. I just quit my job with this major publishing company. And she says, I want to make sure you get a book deal. And, sorry, what was I saying?
Yeah. What happened? What's going on back there? What's going on back there, kids?
I handled it.
Oh.
What was I saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, so she was listening to my podcast and she was like, I just quit my job. And she was working for this like major publication at the time. And she says, I want to get you a book deal. I believe in you now. So she listened to the podcast.
The irony.
Right?
Yeah.
And then she got the courage up to start her own business after listening to the podcast. So
That's a great story.
right?
Yeah.
And so but she said, she was like, your idea for the book isn't it. Like, you're not going to get a deal with that idea. So let's talk it through and let's work it out. And we came up with my Take 7 method and putting stories of how I've coached all these women in the book. And then we sold it. And it took me about 6 months to write the book.
Okay.
And I worked with a ghostwriter who really helped me out a ton.
For sure.
And then now it's like done, which is so weird because you can't change it. Like,
Yeah.
and it feels like already I'm like, I don't like that. It's so final. But I'm like, now I got to write a second book because there's already things I want to add. You know, so it's like launching a whole new company though. Like you don't realize that when you're doing a book that you got to treat it like a whole new business. And so I'm really excited because I'm doing something that I don't know if any author has ever done, but we're going to create this amazing trip for people to give back to incarcerated women. And we're going to donate my books all over to the states of California prison, Illinois, and Texas. And anyway, we're going to help incarcerated women become entrepreneurs and make money for their families.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then it's going to help my book dreams come true and help the incarcerated women's dreams come true.
Yeah.
So,
That's amazing because that's what's lacking in our prison systems is any kind of life skills.
yes.
It's just incarceration. There's not a lot
Revolving door.
It's a revolving. There's an 80% recidivism rate.
Right.
And that's been going on for ever since I can remember.
Well, that was my dad. I was always happy when he was in jail. Like even one time I called his parole officer on him, like get him locked up again because I knew when he was in there, he was safe.
Yeah.
And well, I mean, I know some people aren't, but like when he would go there, he would do well. He actually became like a marathon runner and he worked as a firefighter when he was in prison. And so he was just living like his best life.
Yeah.
In prison. But then when he came out to the real world, like he couldn't hack it. And so that's why my heart is for helping, especially moms that are incarcerated, come back and be able to rehab for their children.
No, for sure. I think that's amazing because I definitely agree with, you know, what Chad's saying is it's once you end up, you know, making the choices that you make and you end up in prison or jail or whatnot, things to get on your feet and get back to, I guess, so-called normal life or have some type of financial freedom has dwindled significantly, especially if you're get a felon or something like that, because not a lot of people are going to hire a felon.
Right.
So then if
They need
you
to start a business.
Exactly. So then if you are able to be your own boss and create a business and then have that financial freedom, then hopefully, you know, you stop the vicious cycle of continuing to go in and out.
Now, I do want to say that a couple things. Most employment background checks only go back 7 years. So you don't always have to be like super worried about it. But the second thing is that 80% of those people in there shouldn't really be in there. I mean, they should be in there, but they should be in there getting the help that they need so that when they get back out, they don't reoffend because they're not violent offenders, and
Right.
most of them
Right.
are substance use disorder,
Right.
addiction problems,
Mm-hmm.
and
Or selling or something, you know.
yeah,
Yeah.
non-violent.
Nonviolent.
And with in the way things are today, in this day and age, it's so dangerous out there.
Mm-hmm.
Fentanyl is no joke.
Yeah.
That's why our podcast exists, because we lost my son-in-law a year ago to fentanyl, and we wanted to bring awareness and be a voice for the people that have lost their lives, and be a beacon of hope for the families that that are struggling,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and just offer hope to the community at large. So hence the Hopeaholics, right?
Yeah, I love
It's
that.
so much more than
Yeah.
what I just said, because it encompasses everybody.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we bring people on. But like, you're actually a perfect person to be on
For
our
sure.
podcast, because you're a family member
Mm-hmm.
of somebody who struggles.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of us do have family members that
For sure.
struggle with addiction, and a lot of people just don't even know how to help those types, you know, those that struggle with addiction, or they don't have the compassion for people that struggle with addiction. And so that's why I've always like been loud about telling my story. And I don't like to tell my dad's story per
No,
se,
for
right?
sure.
But it's like my experience is like the most compassionate thing you can almost do for them is not enable them,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because it
100%.
sometimes helps them get better.
Yeah,
And
it
and
does.
it helps you. And so that's why I think it's incredible that having you come on here, because I think sometimes what happens as well is because of the pain from, I mean, you were a little girl, you were 5 when things started to kind of get disheveled and kind of the rug pulled out from under you, but you didn't have to stay there. You didn't have
Right.
to stay there, that 5-year-old, and succumb to your surroundings. You were able to push forward, and look at you now, you know, beautiful, successful, married, has children. And that's ultimately the goal, is to be living in that, as opposed to it would be very easy for you to stay in the my dad was never around kind of victim mentality. But once again, it piggybacks on mindset, is because if you continuously play that tape over and over and over again, that's all you're going to be, that's where you're going to be stuck, and that's where you're going to live, and you're not going to be able to flourish.
Absolutely.
And so for people listening, where it is unfortunate and it sucks because you're a child, but you're able to overcome that as well. You know, and I think that's also powerful and important for people to hear.
It is, yeah. Manifestation is real. You know, you think negative thoughts, you speak negative thoughts, you're going to have negative results.
Like
Do the opposite. I always like to give both sides, because like, and I like to give the second side, the more positive. You think positive thoughts, you feed your mind with positive thoughts, you're going to actually start thinking more positive thoughts,
Absolutely.
and then you're going to speak more positive thoughts, and more positive things are going to start happening. And then you start stacking these wins in your life,
build confidence.
and you build confidence. Like I really wish people could be in my brain when not right now. I mean, right now, sure, great. It's
having fun in there.
It's very, very pleasurable up there right now. But when I was like 22 and I was getting clean and sober for the first time, and I was this scared kid who had never accomplished anything in his life, who had, you know, been beat up by himself so severely that I was just a scared, shy child, that you would never think that person could get from there to even to where I got to by the time I was 27 years old. Because by the time I think I was like 28, 29, I became a millionaire.
That's amazing.
And I had never gone to college. I had never graduated high school. I spent 3 years behind bars in the county jail. And it was all because I changed my mindset. You know, I had that moment of clarity that I just didn't want to live that way anymore. And if I kept doing what I was doing, and I kept thinking the way I was thinking, I was going to always end up with the same thing. And my best thinking every time got me arrested.
It's not
Yeah.
funny, but I like
It is funny. It is funny. Like my best
True.
thinking
Mine too.
got me arrested.
Yeah. My best thinking gets me arrested and wrecking cars and all that good stuff. So,
We were menaces to society.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's why I'm the complete opposite now.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
You just had to think completely opposite
yeah.
what you were thinking before that.
Yeah.
And that's why, our job is to guard our hearts. Like that's what we should be doing the majority of the day because everybody else is trying to get your attention. This, social
Sure,
media,
sure.
the news, billboards out there, your friends, and you've got to be like stealth, like crazy about not letting things in that don't help where you really want to go. And most people let everybody in.
Yeah.
Let everybody have an opinion. They easily listen to, the things on the news that scare them and bring on fear. Fear brings on more fear. And we don't make good decisions when we're living out of fear.
No.
For sure.
Fear to me means two things, right? You can a lot of people think of it this way: fear, fuck everything and run, right? That's what a lot of people, they're like, this is too scary for me. Or you can face everything and recover.
Ooh. I thought you were going to say rise. Yeah.
You could rise too.
I like
And when you
that.
recover, you rise.
Yeah, I like that.
I
So,
mean,
like-
yeah, even starting a business, you're scared, but you push through the fear because then it's like what was you saying? Was it yesterday? You said something on the other side of fear is,
On the other side of fear is,
I don't know. You said something.
it was
good.
amazing.
It was amazing.
We'll have to go back and listen
know.
to it.
I know, but it usually is true. Once you step through fear, then it's like something beautiful is about to flourish.
Yeah.
Usually.
Greatness is on the other side
Yeah.
of fear. Greatness is on the other side of fear.
That's good.
People, I just, if I can give anything to anybody, that's what I want to give to them. Like I'm scared all the time,
Me too.
but I do
sure.
it, anyways. Like I wake up in the morning and I'm like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
I've got,
Yeah.
150 employees. I mean, if people knew what my monthly overhead was, it's scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm reliant on like the insurance companies, but that's not true. I say that sometimes, but then I'm like, oh wait, no. I'm reliant on God. Sorry. God provides everything
Always.
for me. He's the CEO, not only of my businesses, but of my life.
Amen.
Yeah.
That's a good word right there.
Yeah.
And I think if more people just lived like that and trusted that God has them, and I really believe that fear is a spirit. So you could take authority over that spirit and just say, bye, like be gone. Because anytime I am scared, I just take authority over it and say, no, God, secure me in your love right now. Help me feel loved. Because if we really truly like felt God like next to us and how much he loved us and he's got us, we would walk through the fear. We would keep going and go and do really things with lots and lots of courage, which is exactly how our purpose comes to fruition,
I agree.
I love the word fruition.
I do too.
I don't know why. It's one of those words that I just like. I love it. Yeah, it's fancy.
I like it. Amazing.
So I like to always ask our guests if somebody is hurting out there and they're scared and they want to change their lives and they want to move forward.
Past the fear.
Kind of stuck and they want to get past the fear. What would you say to them?
That's a good question.
How would you coach them through that?
Yeah. So I think to ask yourself a really important question, because the quality of the questions you ask yourself is the quality of the life you end up having. So you want to ask really quality questions. And if you're willing to confront and be radically honest with one question, what's not working for you in your life? So yeah, you might be stuck, you might be in fear right now, but what's that causing in your life that you don't like anymore? and being radically honest about, if I write this down on a piece of paper and I say this isn't working for me in my life, I'm now saying that I choose that in my life. And if I choose this, I can choose something else. And that's the mindset that we have to have in that moment, is every second of every day, I'm choosing something. I'm choosing what to think. I'm choosing the next action to take. And so what's the next best thought I can have? What's the next best action step I can take to get the opposite of this, of what's not working for me? And you got to start small, you know? So if I'm somebody that's stuck and I feel like I'm at the pit of my addiction and I have nobody around me to help me right now, okay, what if I started to focus on the thought that God has me and that God loves me so much and that he's going to provide a way right now for me to get out of this? And what would it look like if I just could believe that for just 10 seconds right now, you know? And then what would I do if I believed God really had me right now? I'd walk into rehab, or I'd walk in, you know, somewhere where I knew, a church, that somebody was going to help me right now in this moment. And then I'm one step closer to getting the life that I want. And so it takes having a new thought, right? And then taking one more step and not getting caught in the big, huge vision. You know, like you didn't know you're going to be a millionaire at 27, 29, but you took one step. And so just focus on that next step, thanking God, next step, thank God, and just keep knowing that when you don't know what to do, that's exactly where God wants you. He wants you to be there, because then you're fully reliant on God and you have to surrender everything, and he will guide you in that moment. I like to think of myself, and you could think of yourself like this too, just having a sheet over your face. I don't know where to go, but you got to have that kind of blind faith to really live a big life that God has for you, and let him take you by the hand and show you what to do next.
I love it.
I love that too.
Yeah, it's amazing. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thanks
Yeah.
for having me.
It's amazing. You've accomplished a ton, especially, you know,
She's kind of a baller.
baller.
Yeah. That's what we call people
Baller.
like you.
Yeah.
Do you ever call yourself that?
No, but I
Yeah.
should. I guess I should.
Yeah. Today you're a baller.
I liked her
Baller,
car that
shot
she
caller.
rolled up in. Yeah. Big baller.
Yeah.
Shot caller.
Oh my God. 20 inch. But thank you so much for coming on. Like, yeah, your story is awesome.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you. It was
Having-
I
seriously
can't wait to have your book comes out.
a
Yeah.
pleasure. Yeah, let us know. We'll definitely.
You can pre-order it now. If
Oh yeah.
anybody's interested.
Hit all your plugs right now.
Yeah, you just go to caylacraft.com. You can get the book. whatdoyourreallywantbook.com. You could pick up the book. And I'm giving away a whole course walking you through each step of Take 7 to get what you really want in life.
Amazing.
Let me ask you one last question.
Okay.
Are you going to put your book on audio?
Yes.
Yes.
I record in January.
Yes.
Nice. Yeah. I feel like
That's
it's
when
a
I'll be
must.
getting that book.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like
I am the audio book.
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
I'm the page turner. I like
connoisseur.
I mean, I like audio as well, but there's something special about having like the real deal in your hand and turning a page, and then once you finish,
That's how I am.
you know.
For me, if I'm going to read the book, I need the audio book too, because I need to read along with the person that's reading the
Yes.
book, because I'm actually an auditory learner, not a
Yeah,
visual
you know
learner.
that
makes
about
sense.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, we should get a lot of books and then put them in all your places.
Yeah, for
Oh
sure.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Super.
That would be awesome.
Stoked
Yeah.
for you. It was nice to meet you
Yeah,
the
so
other
Thank you so
night.
much.
and
Thank
then-
you
Yeah,
so
I know.
much.
I feel like it was divine timing that we met.
I know you just walked. Did
Lydia wanted me to meet you.
oh okay, Lydia.
yeah.
Yeah.
She was like, you need to know them.
Yeah, she's amazing.
I
Also,
know.
which is I'm not surprised that you guys know each other
Yep.
because
I did sneak
makes sense.
away, and I needed sushi really bad, so I
You
went
went
to
to
this.
Nobu?
Yeah.
hilarious.
Funny.
Yeah.
I know. I kind of go in and make my rounds and leave early at all those things.
Well, I'm like, I get up at 3 normally.
Oh,
and
yeah. That's
so
a late night.
So like, yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know
he's
how.
tired.
I am in bed at 8. People.
I know. My husband like planned a double date for us tomorrow night at like 7 o'clock. And I'm like, that's too late. Can we go at
That's
4?
hilarious. That's like me. It's unbelievable. Where like I'm like, we are those people. I like 7 o'clock. No, like 7 o'clock. Huh?
7 o'clock, like East Coast time. I'm there.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know these people that like
Yeah.
that literally who eats. I don't even eat dinner at 7 o'clock. I eat dinner at 5.
I know.
I'm a
You don't
5
have
o'clock
time to
dinner.
digest.
Yep.
Go
And then
sleep.
before I go to bed,
Yeah.
at 8, right? Because you want to have.
Well, we're just
the
basically
doctor
stating our
does-
age, guys.
Yeah.
That's all. We're just old.
No,
'Cause-
but
Or we just love ourselves so much.
I've
Yeah.
been doing this though. Like I've been falling asleep since 27 at like 8. I've always gotten up at like 4.
But look how much you accomplished.
Yeah.
So it's something to be said about that.
Exactly.
I like the 3 o'clock hour because man, you get up at 3.
Yeah, it's quiet.
Nobody.
Exactly.
Nobody.
Dang, I don't know if I could try that, but I kind of want to.
Sometimes my daughter's getting home from her job because she works till
Oh yeah.
2.
Yeah.
I'll like see her pull in and I'm like, I'm already up. And she's
Yeah,
like
that's
coming home to go to
wild.
bed.
Gosh. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
what a worker.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Well, she sleeps till like 1 in
Yeah.
the afternoon because her job's from like 7 to 2.
What is she, a waitress? Or?
What did you used to do? Was that
Bottle service.
Bottle service.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
a late night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're
I used to work graveyard shift at 24-hour fitness.
Oh,
Yeah, in Yorba Belinda.
and your
Okay.
Belinda.
I used to work out at that one.
Really? What year?
Oh my god.
I was only there in 2005. And then I
Ooh,
went
think
back home.
I think I was probably at
2005.
2006.
Okay.
I think I
around
worked
there.
for. I think I worked for 24-hour fitness and no, I didn't. I stopped working there in 2002. I worked for 24-hour fitness.
How funny.
Yeah, that's
I
hilarious.
learned so much working for them. Oh my gosh.
I learned so much. You know where I got most of my skills from? I weaseled my way into working at the Ritz-Carlton as a convicted
Super smart.
convicted felon.
Yeah,
I
bravo.
passed all the tests. They didn't do background checks in like 1997,
Oh wow.
That's
and
hilarious.
I
sure that
weaseled-
rule has changed,
Oh,
especially now.
I marked no on the thing, right? And then they have, I mean, it's an extensive process to get hired at the Ritz-Carlton. You got to do all these like crazy phone interviews where they ask you weird questions to see if you're lying.
Yeah.
And I made it.
They didn't ask you if you were a
Yeah.
felon. I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. Ritz-Carlton has like the best customer service, right? So
Yeah,
you learned
that's where I
Yeah.
learned my customer service, and I think that customer service is everything, right?
is.
It's part of the whole sales tactic.
Absolutely.
We so even still to this day, if somebody says thank you to me, I rarely do I say you're welcome, because at the Ritz-Carlton we were not allowed to say you're welcome. We can say it's my pleasure or certainly. So if somebody said thank you, I'd be like, it's my pleasure. So I say most of the time I say it's my pleasure.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that.
That makes sense.
The other thing about the Ritz-Carlton is if you're lost in the hotel and I'm an employee and let's say I'm not even by my post and somebody's like, hey, how do I get to the spa? It's required that I walk them all the way to the spa.
That is genius. I love that.
Yeah. Once again, customer care, which is it's service.
I typically do that here. Like if a client's like lost, I'll walk them all the way to where they're supposed to be. Because this is a big building. It's 32,000 square feet.
I like that you do that because
Yeah,
I would get lost.
for sure.
I like you
I would
came out
too.
right now. You just made
Yeah, I ran out there. I was like, oh my God.
that was
there
the Ritz in you.
Yeah.
You're like, let me move a car.
Yep. Moved my car.
Oh, nice.
Worked out. Because see, the thing is, I can move my car and I can hand my drivers in the back the keys and they can do whatever
yeah,
they want
you're
with
right.
it.
Yeah,
I can't
he got it
hand
like
them.
that.
I can't
He's
hand them
CEO.
Yeah.
CEO
Your
Chad.
keys.
Yeah.
Because
I
if
very
they
true.
if they back into
Yeah.
another car in your car, I'm not paying to get that thing fixed.
Do you know what happened yesterday? A tree fell on my husband's truck.
No.
Driveway. Yeah. Speaking of that. Mhm.
Wow.
that was fun.
That's actually really good.
And I was just so thankful that it wasn't my car.
Right?
Oh, I was like, yes, thank God.
Wow, that's actually insane. I'm excited for your book.
Yeah.
You're going to have to come back when it drops.
Yes, I
yeah,
will.
for sure. Because
It's gonna be good, and then I can have it like in
Yeah.
person. You guys can look at it. It's
exactly.
gonna be good. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
on,
no,
guys.
thank you so much.
Thank you
Yeah.
for coming.
And congratulations on all of your success.
Thank
It's,
you.
it's
So
really
real,
cool.
real quick, we'll take a picture and
Oh, yeah.
then sign the wall.
All right.